Good morning, everybody. News from Ireland today and an article from Redux, so let's get straight into it. Irish mother reported to police after criticising BDSM fetishist-led trans kid event. What do we have to do? Shall I say it twice? Irish mother reported to police after criticising BDSM fetishist-led trans kids event. A mother in Ireland was visited by police after she raised concerns about the speaker and content of a family-friendly event, which had been aimed at discussing the medical and social transitioning of children. Right, this is Ireland. There's something going on in Northern Ireland. And I think that our powers that be that are currently in control in Westminster need to look very closely at what's happening. On July the 19th, someone called Tara Hewitt, who I believe was an interfering pain in the neck in the NHS here in the UK, particularly in the northwest, and has some very dubious tastes, has been appointed the head of Ireland's largest trans activist organisation. Right? That's on July the 19th. Now, I know others have done work on Tara Hewitt, and I anticipate that if they could share this video and perhaps put their link in a thread of any work that they've done in regards to Tara Hewitt, so we can get Ireland up to speed. And somebody should have a chat with whoever is running the show over there. The NHS needs to get a grasp on this and grasp on it very quickly, because this person is obviously attempting to infiltrate projects and areas in Ireland, which has already happened here. So, newly appointed, the Ireland's largest trans activist organisation led a discussion regarding the medical transitioning of children. The event Tenny and Tea. You see, they make it sound so harmless, you know. And this took place with the support of Donegal County Council. Anybody in Ireland who is a receiver of Donegal County Council services, or is in fact living in County Donegal, may well wish to write to their council and ask them questions about what exactly they're playing at, working with these people. But the event drew concerns from women's rights advocates in the community, especially those particularly concerned with child safeguarding, as the event was billed as family friendly. How family friendly it is to sterilise a child. Many began to point out that Hewitt had a disturbed history of opposing safeguarding measures and had previously signed a declaration calling for the release of all trans-identified inmates, including paedophiles, from prisons. Redux, eh? That's what they're saying. Rifling through the absolute detritus so that we don't have to. Last week, Jennifer Kimmel, a local women's rights campaigner, expressed her concerns when speaking with Redux about the event. Kimmel pointed out that Hewitt, the new CEO of Trans Equality Network Ireland, Tenny, was a self-professed BDSM fetishist. Kimmel called into question the motives of the event organisers. I can't say that word, it's in Irish. Somebody will have to do it for me. Brodna Galtachet. Well, no. Why am I so bad at this? Motives of the event organisers and intended for targeting minors and vilifying concerned parents. Any person or group with good intentions does not vilify parents, purposely misleading the public, nor regard themselves as above reproach. These are clear red flags, Kimmel said. But Kimmel's concerns about the event quickly attracted the attention of trans activists, who characterised her tweets as hate speech. Speaking to Redux, Kimmel explained that in response to her vocal opposition to the event, trans activists involved with Tenny and Tea reported her to law enforcement, citing concerns about the safety of their staff and accusing Kimmel of hate speech. This is an example of where hate speech and censorship leads us. Neither should exist. Neither. On July the 20th, a police officer visited her home, where she said she was then lectured about being homophobic. Is there some sort of like problem with police in Northern Ireland understanding what the difference between sexuality is and gender lunacy? Because it seems like it, doesn't it? The police officer gave her a warning, stating she was treading a fine line, and had been reported by the main organisations of Tenny and Tea, Robbie Matthews and Paul Penrose. The officer dismissed her concerns and told her that she should run her own event. Leading up to the arrival of an officer on her doorstep, Kimmel says she called the Pobl Shale, a local social inclusion voluntary organisation in which Penrose is involved. Her intent was to raise safeguarding concerns given Tara Hewitt's history. Kimmel explained to law enforcement that she had not harassed any particular individual and had only called to inform the community group about the potential risk to children. She also told the officer that her event staff had insulted her in a variety of ways, calling her a bigot, fascist, homophobe, anti-gay, cockroach, and TERF slurs, which had led to her receiving harassment. Speaking with Redux about her interaction with the officer, Kimmel said, "I am a local mother who is very familiar with the damage trans ideology can do to women and to children. I simply attempted to register my child's safeguarding concerns about the upcoming Tenny event, specifically targeting children." She continued, "This was framed as far-right bigotry. And I was referred to as anti-gay, a cockroach, fascist and a Nazi by the men promoting the events who thwarted all my attempts to address this matter through proper channels." The undermining of safeguarding, folks, this is it. Let's undermine safeguarding. The undermining of safeguarding, opening up family events to have discussions about stuff that no child should be present at. She then explained that the men promoting the event purposely put her and her family in danger by referring to her in an extremist and derogatory manner. Yep, we've seen attacks this weekend by some nutter, right? But despite local opposition, the event went ahead as planned on July the 19th and was characterised as a health class on Eventbrite, a health class. Sterilising, mutilating, it's just insane. According to the registration page, the discussion led by Hewitt was meant to provide up-to-date information, knowledge and allow for discussion on how best to support trans and non-binary young people. Tara Hewitt was previously Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Lead at the Northern Care Alliance NHS. Oh yes, he certainly was. In this role, Hewitt requested that medical personnel ignore a guidance put forward by the Equalities and Human Rights Commission, preserving single-sex spaces for women receiving health services. Hewitt also branded the guidance by the EHRC as transphobic and urged his colleagues within the NHS to ignore its guidance. This is a demagogue. Right? This is a demagogue. This guidance is highly likely to be found unlawful at judicial review and incredibly transphobic, he said. When will attacks on trans people end in the UK? I urge my equality professional colleagues to give this guidance the credibility it deserves by putting it in a bin and continue as usual, said Hewitt. It's a demagogue. With his statement, Hewitt deliberately ignored a widely publicised incident that had occurred 1 month prior, wherein a woman who had been raped in a single-sex hospital ward by a trans-identified male was told her assailant was a woman. Hewitt has been politically active in both Labour and more recently the Conservative Party, for which he stood as councillor. During his campaign, it emerged that he had an interest in BDSM and dressing up as an animal during sex, euphemistically referred to as furrydom. He is also known for openly having discussed the acceptance of men with sexual fetishes at events focused on healthcare. During a 2016 presentation for the LGBT Cancer Support Alliance, Hewitt spoke about men who cross-dress for sexual pleasure and clarified that men who wear women's underwear to satisfy a fetish are included under the trans umbrella. Speaking to a room filled with women, Hewitt claimed, "You've got people that fetishistically cross-dress and wear clothing to get a sexual desire out of the clothing of the opposite gender. It generally tends to be associated with men wearing women's underwear." At the same presentation, Hewitt revealed that he had also worked with Action for Trans Health, an organisation which published a manifesto demanding the immediate release of all trans criminals from prison. "We demand that trans people are immediately freed from police, military and government contracts without repercussions. We reject the system of blackmail that corporations and governments engage in, whereby trans people who can work are rewarded with slightly less mistreatment in exchange for the exploitation of our labour," read the document. Here comes the leftism. The manifesto, which has since been deleted, was published on Tumblr in 2018 and also demanded taxpayer-funded access to all forms of plastic surgery and body modification without any questions asked by medical professionals. "We demand the freedom to alter our bodies without justification. We demand an end to all surgical prerequisites. Nobody should have to prove life experience, health, or have to be taking hormones in order to exercise bodily autonomy," Action for Trans Health stated. We demand that these surgeries can be highly customised to meet our unique individual and unique needs. We demand the right to multiple surgeries, including reversal of previous surgeries if desired, so that we do not have to fear regret. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not very often that you see a full-on cult member prancing about in the wild, but it looks to me that Tara Hewitt may well be one. He has form for this. He's done things like this before. He's been involved in stuff in the Northwest. My question would be is why is he no longer involved in stuff in the Northwest? So if anybody worked in the NHS in the Northwest can help shed some light on exactly what Mr. Tara Hewitt has been doing, then I'd be grateful to hear from you on that one. Other than that, let's just try and, give people who live in Ireland right now a bit of support, because something's gone terribly wrong with Donegal County Council, and they need to be brought to book for allowing a man with such blatantly extreme views about body modification and supporting organisations with blatantly extreme views about body modification, and who thinks it's okay to talk about trans healthcare for children. There's no such thing. It's just cosmetic surgery. And who also has advocated for ensuring that the trans umbrella includes cross-dressers and fetishists. I don't know what the hell Donegal County Council were thinking of. And whatever the equivalent of the Charities Commission over here is, needs to be looking at this TENI organisation very closely, because something, somewhere, has gone terribly wrong. I'll see you all later.